Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. All praises be to the Most High Yah. We are here to see another Sabbath. I'm so thankful that the week is over, and we are so thankful to be here yet another day. All praises to the Most High. Thank Him. We thank Him so very much for bringing in this Sabbath. We are honored to wake up this morning. So in all that ways, acknowledge Him, and He shall direct that path. And this is the day the Yah has made. It's a beautiful fall day, and we are absolutely happy and shall rejoice in it. We got some sun today. We have been able to scathe away from getting any type of snow. So if you guys are getting some snow in your area, then I pray that you guys all stay warm during this winter season. But today is going to be a good one, you guys. This video is called Be Unshaken. Stand strong in the struggle. So before we get started, because I'm ready to dive in. It's going to be a lot of reading today. I want to go ahead and read the story of the fiery furnace, which you guys all know about. And if you haven't, then tune in. This is going to be some good story time today. I'm not going to pull as many precepts today, so today is going to be a lot of just reading scripture, just kind of getting into these stories of how all of our ancestors and some that we're going to highlight today are just unshaken in their faith, and they stand strong in the struggle. So we got to learn from them. So let's start out with Titus 2, our foundational scripture. So if you have your King James Version Bible, go ahead and pull that out with the Apocrypha. And it is Titus 2, 3 through 5. So it reads as follows. The aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of Yah be not blasphemed. So again, this title is called Be Unshaken. Stand strong in the struggle. So right now, in my current personal reading, I am in the book of Daniel. And so go ahead and flip to the book of Daniel, because that's what we're going to be at today. So I'm in the book of Daniel. So in that book, if you guys have heard some of these stories, you know about the story of Daniel in the lion's den, the stories of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego being in the fiery furnace. These are very, very, very famous stories. So if you guys are new to the truth or new to even reading scripture, then tune in, because this is why they are famous, because they are exemplary examples, exceptional examples, exemplary examples of how people have been in this truth, and just all praises to the Most High of how He's given them strength in all types of adversity. So, I really want to be able to encourage you guys for a couple different ways that I wrote down of how to remain unshaken, how to be unshaken in this truth, because I know that times are hard, for people, and there you can, feel like you're wavering, feel like you can fall out of the truth, feel like the world is tempting you. So we are going to get right into it. So go to Daniel, and we're going to start with the first chapter. So go to Daniel chapter 1. And we are going to start with verse 3. One of the first ways that I want you to write down of how to be unshaken is that we must fully follow the Most High. Fully follow the Most High. And that is following and being obedient to His laws, statutes, and commandments. We know this. I teach this all the time, and you guys know within yourselves you have to follow the law, statutes, and commandments. So it's so important to do that, because there will be times that we see that other people have been tested as our ancestors, and there will be times in these end days, because that's also scripture, of when we're going to be actually tested. So we got to make sure that we're taking the time, like I've always told you guys, in this grace period, it is the time to get built up in your spirit and get built up in your faith. So we got to take these opportunities that the Most High is so mercifully giving us to be able to focus and kind of hone in on all the things that He wants us to, so we can make our garments clean. Just a little bit before I start reading, my king is back behind me in the kitchen doing a little bit of housework. So if you hear anything in the background, he's just being fantastic and helping me out a little bit while I'm doing this video. So we love him. All praises to the Most High for my fantastic king. So let's start out in Daniel. And like I said, we are going to go to 1 and we're going to read 3 through 8. And again, this is going to be an example of how Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were up against the king Nebuchadnezzar at the time when they were in the Babylonian captivity. Just kind of give you a little context of what we're reading here. In the Babylonian captivity, in this first portion in Daniel 1 is about Daniel kind of going against eating the king's meat and making sure that he wants to stay following these dietary laws that we have. So I really want to kind of go into that because, again, the first topic is you must fully follow the Most High. So you got to be obedient. All right, so it reads as follows, Daniel 1:3-8. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of the eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel and of the king's seed and of the princes, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored, and skillful in all wisdom, and cunning in knowledge, and understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, in whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat, of the wine which he drank, so nourishing them 3 years, that at the end thereof they might stand before the king. Now among them were of the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince of the eunuchs gave names. For he gave unto Daniel the name Belshazzar, and to Hananiah of Shadrach, and to Mishael of Meshach, and to Azariah of Abednego. But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with a portion of the king's meat, nor with the whole wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. So we're going to drop down and read 11-20. Then said Daniel to Melzar, whom the prince of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, prove thy servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them drink us pulse to eat and water to drink. Then let our countenances be looked upon before thee in the countenance of the children that ate of the portion of the king's meat, and as thou seest, deal with thy servants. For he consented to them in this matter, and proved them 10 days. And at the end of the 10 days, their countenances appeared fairer and fatter in flesh than all the children which did eat of the king's meat. That's right. Thus Melzar took away the portion of their meat and the wine that they should drink, and gave them pulse. And for these 4 children, Yah gave them knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom. And Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. But at the end of the days that the king had said he should bring them in, then the prince of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar. And the king communed with them, and among them all was found none like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Therefore stood they before the king. And in all matters of wisdom and understanding that the king inquired of them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and astrologers, and were all in his realm. So look at that. That right there is such a fantastic example of how you can still stay obedient when you're looked at, when you're looking at times of trouble, and making sure that you are standing strong in your belief. So I really wanted, when I was reading these stories, I was like, man, these stories are so inspirational. So I really wanted to make sure that I brought some of these stories out because, even though I might encourage you guys to read the Bible, even though it might be times that you might read, you might not have hit every story. You might not even read the book of Daniel, So the book of Daniel is so fantastic. There's so many visions in there that Daniel has. I mean, the whole statue we all know about of Nebuchadnezzar and how that broke down into the different kingdoms. I mean, it's just so much that you can go into the book of Daniel. So it is a very beautiful book and can be a prophetic book. So definitely look at it, but we are going to stick with the title, Standing Strong in the Struggle, because that was just a great example right there of how Daniel stood strong in the struggle because, he would have been having to eat meat that was going to defile him. And we can't do that. We can't, be in some concentration camp or be in the end days and they're like, oh, well, and he wasn't even in that, he's getting, meat from the king because they thought, eating my meat and drinking my wine is going to make you guys, grow up into who I wanted. He stood up and was like, no, we're not eating your food. I can't defile myself. I need to eat this over here. And then watch how much better I look than all the other people that are eating your meat, So, but I was going to say, if you are caught up in, let's say in the end days and you're captive, in the end days and they make you try to eat pork, you got to say no. So these times I want to make sure that you guys are encouraged, so you understand that regardless of what happens, the Most High is going to be on your side, but you got to have faith. So this is what these topics that I'm going to hit are about. So the first one, you must fully follow the Most High. All right. So we just have to be encouraged that Daniel just never wavered, never ever wavered. And we got to be the same way. We have to fully trust the Most High. And that's the second point that it brings me to the second point. So tip number 2 is truly trust that Yah is our defender. Truly trust that. And that way, we're going to flip to 3 as I talk. So flip to chapter 3. So we have to we have to truly understand how much the Most High is our defender. He is the creator of heaven and of earth, of everything. So we have to understand that when there are times that we need him, we can call upon him, and all praises to him. He'll give us mercy if it's his will, and if he feels deemed to do it at that time, that he will defend you, and know that he can. That's the whole point. So we're going to start in chapter 3. We're going to read this entire chapter, and I'm just going to bring out the other 2 points while we're in this chapter. So this is going to be the crux of this entire lesson right here. So let's start out in chapter 3, and it reads as follows. So this is going to be about the fiery furnace, right? So it reads as follows. Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold whose height was 60 cubits and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together the princes, the governors and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Then the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then an herald cried out, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that let me get it closer to this light, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Now I can stop right there. Y'all already know. Y'all already know. You can't bow down before any other God. That is part of the 10 commandments. I mean, we're 613, but you got to know that one. You cannot worship any other God except for the Most High. So right here, this is Nebuchadnezzar setting up a image made of gold of himself, so everybody in his kingdom and his realm can bow down to this image. That is not going to fly if you know who you are and you are a child of the Most High. And these gentlemen knew that they were children of the Most High. So we're going to keep with this story right here, because this is going to be a good lesson for you guys. So picking it up at 6. And whoso falleth not down and worship shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Therefore at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshiped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. They spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worship, that he shall be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. I cannot forget that. It's burning fiery furnace. Salakia, but that is very important. A burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. So I want us to understand that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had unbreakable faith all the way to impending death. Unbreakable faith. Because they knew that the Most High is the controller over everyone's lives and death. They knew this. Nothing happens, good or bad, without the Most High say so. We have to know this. So that's why tip number 2 is truly trust that Yah is our defender. So we're going to finish up a little bit here before I go into the Apocrypha. So now we are going to start at 14. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, It is true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up. Now if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter, for it be